Alright, today I'm going to quickly show you guys how to use our standoff mounting screws to install an LED neon sign to the wall. Sweet, let's do it. And before we start, one thing you will need if you're going to be using these mounts is a drill with a Phillips head drill bit ideally. So typically it's easier to install the sign with two people, but when they're smaller, it's kind of easy enough to do for yourself. So say this is the wall you want to put it on. What you do is, without slapping it around too much, kind of find out where you want to put it. Say if this is where you wanted to put it, grab yourself a Sharpie, which I wish I'd uncapped before I did that. Get yourself a Sharpie, and then you just want to mark out the holes as best you can, because we're going to drill some pilot holes first. No, there's just 3. Cool. All right. Step 1 done. First step, drilling the pilot holes in. Got a little bit greedy on that one. Be careful not to go too far in, as you leave marks like that, which you don't really want. All right, so next step is to grab the screw that looks like this, the small screw, and this base piece. Basically what we're going to do is we want to put this screw through here to mount this piece onto the wall that will eventually hold the sign. So let's do that. So what I do is I just put the screw through this little bolt. I'll show you in a second how that's going to look. Get it through there, shake it through, and then I find the pilot I've made, sticking that there, kind of line it up, and now we go. There you go. Should be easy enough. Nice and solid, and then finish them all up, and then we'll put the sign on. Alright, so the final step in mounting these, we're going to use these little top parts of the screws to actually fix the sign to the bottom of these mounts. So let me do this. Again, always easier if you have more hands to hold it, but I'll quickly screw that one in. I'll use as a reference point, and then the other ones should line up nicely. And then my last one. And we're done. So that is how you mount the sign. Now let me show you how to plug it in and light it up real easy. So out of the box, you've got your AC plug and you get your transformer. Transformers come in varying sizes. AC plugs obviously have different ends depending on where in the world you are. But the next step is pretty simple. Plug the AC plug into the wall. That, and then this part goes into this part, and then ultimately goes in here. I'd recommend, it's obviously lit up now, but you can untie all that stuff. Don't leave it tied up, but for the sake of showing you how it looks, that's it. But if you have a dimmer remote, let me show you how to add that in for the medium dimmer remote. This works for the large dimmer remote too, but I'll show you where that goes. 1 second. Alright, so you would have got in with your dimmer, you would have got your receiver. This is the part that receives the instructions, and of course your remote gives the receiver its instructions. So undo this piece. Now, this is the power lead of your sign. You plug the male to female in there, and then the other piece plugs into the transformer. So this goes just directly in the line between your sign. There you go. You see some red popping up here. You know that it's working. Do you see the red in there? Yep. And then you got your remote. Always make sure you got a battery in there. We don't often ship them with batteries. You can't, UPS and stuff don't allow it. But make sure there's a battery in there before you try any of this. And then press the on button. And like magic, it turns on. You can dim up and down by scrubbing, turn it off. That's the whole thing. So yeah, any questions, drop them below and we'll answer them.